And good Tuesday morning. Welcome to episode 63 of the Inside Drive podcast. I'm very excited about this episode today. A couple local legends here in Bay County. Looking forward to talking a little bit of fishing here locally with Captain Greg Gladden. And then, of course, my good friend Steve Wiley, who is, in my opinion, a horse racing expert. So we're going to dive into the Kentucky Derby today, which is coming up this Saturday, roughly around 5:30 when the actual Derby will run. But first, before we get into that, I want to talk about the official juice of the Inside Drive. That is Juice and Sunsets. Let's be real. Most people aren't getting what they need from food alone. Low energy, feeling sluggish. Yeah, we've all been there. That's where Juice and Sunsets comes in. Fresh, nutrient-packed juices loaded with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to keep you feeling your best. Hit them up on Facebook or go to juiceandsunsets.com to place your order, pickup or delivery. And one of the newest businesses here in Panama City Beach. Before we get started on the Inside Drive podcast, we got to mention the Back Nine Panama City Beach. If you love golf, this is the place to be. They have state-of-the-art indoor golf simulators where you can play some of the most iconic golf courses in the world to get real data on your swing. The best part, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for members, so you can grind on your game anytime you want. Speaking of membership, check out their membership. Unlimited tee times, 24-hour access, bring your buddies, plus discounts and merchandise and events. Founding memberships are still on sale currently, which include lifetime discounts. Rain or shine, day or night, the Back Nine is the spot to play. Go to the Back Nine PCB on Facebook or head over to theback9golf.com/Panama City Beach and book your bay today. They opened last Tuesday, so get out there and check it out. It is an unbelievable place. Me and my son go there all the time. Just so much fun. They got the full swing simulators, just like the TGL, all the data. Probably some lessons coming down the road here pretty soon, which I'm hopefully to be excited to be involved in. Before we get to our questions, got to mention our American Charlie's Athlete of the Week for last week. That goes to Dava Olds for Rutherford High School. She has been named this week's American Charlie's Athlete of the Week. She's absolutely flying right now, clocking a personal record of 58.54 seconds in the 400 meters and earning a spot in the regional meet. That's speed, dedication, and big-time performance when it matters most. American Charlie's, or the Athlete of the Week, is brought to you by American Charlie's Grill and Tavern, your go-to spot right here in Panama City Beach. Whether you're catching the game on one of their 15 TVs, grabbing legendary wings, burgers, or that home-style fried chicken, American Charlie delivers every time. Don't miss their daily happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m., which includes their early Eagle menu with incredible deals. Plus, military and first responders always get some love. Swing by the shops at Edgewater and tell them the Inside Drive sent you. And now we'll go to Captain Greg Gladden. Greg, thanks for coming on today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ryan.
Absolutely. You're the owner-operator of Complete Inshore Fishing Charters.
Yes, sir.
How did you get started as a fishing guide here in Panama City Beach?
Man, it's been kind of a long road on it, I guess. About 6 years ago, I was actually driving the Sea Screamer, big yellow dolphin tour boat. Everybody knows it's pretty popular in town. And the folks out there, the owners kind of talked me into getting my captain's license. They wanted me to drive the boat. I was working as a full-time or a part-time deckhand. And in order to get my license to drive that boat, I had to start with my six-pack license, which was the license I needed to be able to take folks on guided fishing trips.
Gotcha.
So I had the license, and I had a boat at the house, and I had the knowledge of the fishery, and kind of had folks in my circle pushing me towards it, saying, hey, this is maybe a calling for you, and you'd be great at it. I had that always, just that natural, or that folks kind of recommending it to me and saying it'd be a good fit for me. So no, it worked out. I made the jump and kind of opened my charter fishing business, and then pretty much from there the rest is history. It just kind of blew up and took off from there, and I'm really fortunate to be where I'm at today and fishing and being able to do it full time as a guide.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I say, to be able to turn your passion into fishing and being out on the water into a full-time career is not something that happens very often for a lot of people. To do what they love and make it a full-time job. So pretty impressive stuff.
For sure.
What makes our area so special for fishing?
Oh man, the fishing here is really incredible. Like the seasons, I mean, the bottom fishing, I mean, our area is kind of known for like reef and bottom fishing for the snappers and groupers. However, there's all kind of stuff and fish to experience here. And it seems like when one thing quits biting or one kind of species moves out, the next one moves in. So there's kind of like always something to look forward to as far as the seasons. Like right now, we're catching a lot of redfish. The jacks are starting to show up, tarpon, the cobia, a few of those rolled through and people got a chance to catch them. So it's just exciting times of the year, and I mean, I guess just that's why our area is unique, just because you never really
A lot
know.
of opportunities, and it's different depending on what time of year you guys are out there fishing.
Yeah.
What should someone expect when they go fishing with you?
Well, I can't always guarantee that we're gonna catch anything, because it's called fishing, not catching, right?
I say that all the time when I don't catch anything off my dock in the backyard.
No, we're gonna have a good time. That's what I can guarantee.
That's what it's all about.
For sure. No, I mean, like when I leave the dock, from the time I leave the dock to the time we get back, I'm like solely focused on the how the people are feeling on the trip. So like I feel like I'm pretty good at naturally reading people and kind of figuring out what their expectations are beforehand, and then hopefully setting or meeting the goal when they show up on the boat. And so, we got to deal, as fishing guides, we have to deal with a lot of stuff like variables,
a lot
weather,
of things that are outside of your control.
Yeah, sure. Of course. So being able to like manage that stuff, and as well as like let my customers have a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, so I feel like I do a pretty good job at just guaranteeing that they're going to walk off the boat saying I tried really hard.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things I used to always talk about that in customer service. It's not what you do for the people, it's how you make them feel. And they come back because the way you made them feel, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. If it's bad, I'm sure they don't come back. But, speaking of all the clients you've taken out, what was the most memorable moment you've had with a client as far as reeling in a fish? I'm sure there's a lot of them.
Yeah, that's such a common question. Like people ask me that all the time. And I wish I had a specific event. Like there's just so many, like, and that's the thing too. You mentioned social media and like, it being, you get to see a lot of stuff on there, right? I do a lot of posting. So it's almost like a highlight reel, but then again, I can look back at my own social media posts and man, it is just like the smallest glimpse of the stuff that I've seen in my career. Like you can't only hold your phone for so long or get something on camera. So like, there's just so many things that me and my customers have seen, and that we're the only people that have ever seen that, we got to witness something cool. So I can't think of anything specific, any specific fish. There's a lot of cool ones.
Well, how about this? What's your favorite fish to go put clients on?
I would say consistently my favorite fish is a tarpon to go.
Well, that's a bucket list fish too for a lot of people too, right?
It is, yeah. It's become really popular. I guess it's been popular for years for people to catch, but around this area, it being a place where people have kind of focused on like reef and bottom fishing for so long, they've kind of neglected that. I call it more like skillful, like tactical style of fishing, if you could say. That people are so used to filling up the cooler and bringing it back to the fish house and taking the big picture of the dock, and that's cool. Like I grew up doing that as well. But then when you talk about a fish that you got to spend so long fighting, and he doesn't really want to bite when you fish for him, and it's they're hard to catch, and so and then when you do finally get one to bite, 6 or 7 times out of 10 they're going to jump off the hook anyway. So it becomes one of those things where it's like the tarpon is it's a sought after thing because it is so hard to do. It's so challenging, and
I've seen some of your videos where like the person fishing will be out in the water to go get, because you can't pull the tarpon out of the water, right?
Yeah, that's right. So like our area is unique with that because like if you fish for tarpon in any other areas of Florida, like I guess they deal with sharks pretty bad. Like the sharks, bull sharks, hammerheads, any kind of shark come up and eat the fish on the side of the boat. Like it's really common for places like the big passes down South Central Florida. The fish are getting eaten by sharks down there. Our area, it's pretty unique because like we're catching these fish out on the beach where you can see for hundreds of yards, crystal clear water up there where everybody's already swimming anyways back behind these condos. So it's not uncommon for I feel comfortable letting my customers be like, hey, if you can, you want to jump in with your fish, take a picture with it. So that's like why it's neat to catch one out here on the beach, is because man, like you catch that fish of a lifetime, you want to get that awesome picture with it.
Kind of showing it off in front of all those people, and then that makes your reels and stuff like that can go pretty viral, I would imagine, because of just the cool uniqueness of all that. It's gives me chills thinking about it right now.
Yeah,
it's good stuff. That's good stuff. Have you ever had a crazy trip where everything went completely crazy out there on the boat? I'm sure you have. But if
crazy as in like crazy good or crazy bad?
Let's go with crazy good.
Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there's been times where, I've run, and I don't do this as much anymore, like in the summer, but I'll run like 2 trips in a day or something like that. And we may have had like a slow morning or a slow ending to my first trip. And I get on my second trip thinking that, I kind of have an idea of what to expect. And then I leave the dock and just things have changed.
Yep.
Like I find something that I didn't find on the first trip, and just totally shocks you or surprises you. And that's kind of another unique thing about our fishery is like it can change in a second.
Yeah. Kind of like our weather.
Yeah. And, in a lot of the, like your best fishing spots and like a lot of the fish people are riding by every day and they're right there under your nose and you just don't really realize it,
And that's the benefit of going with a local guide who's been here for so long. You know what you're looking for and where to go, which makes your client's experience that much better. What's the funniest thing that's ever happened on your boat?
So the funniest thing, let's see. Oh gosh, I wish you'd have sent me these questions, Ryan.
My bad.
It's all good. No, the funniest thing, I was telling a story about a guy the other day. Somebody asked me, they're like, I should have answered this for the craziest thing, right? But I had a fellow one time come on the boat and we're riding. I mean, we hadn't left the dock for maybe 5 minutes and it's a group of 4 guys, like younger guys. You could tell they'd probably been drinking. This was like an afternoon trip. They'd probably been drinking all day. And we didn't make it to the first spot, and the group of the buddies encouraged one of them to jump off the boat while I was moving at probably 30 miles an hour. And so I hear a splash and kind of the boat rocking, shifting weight, and I look back and I see him plunged in the whitewash back behind me. So I had to spin around and get this guy. Kind of threatened him like, hey, you do that again, we're going to have to go back to the dock. I tell that story sometimes, they'll be like, I'm surprised you didn't already do it, but, you know.
Absolutely.
Crazy stuff.
That's just dangerous.
I have a question. If a client says, I want to catch a tarpon, do you go to a different section than you would if somebody just wanted to catch a bottom feeder? So
that's a good question. Yeah, for sure. There's the tarpon migrate down our coastline, or up our coastline, I should say. They go up towards the mouth of the Mississippi River. So generally, like this time of year, they're swimming a certain direction down the beach, and a certain depth of water is where you can generally find them. And so they're not always hung up in one spot, if that makes sense either, because they're constantly moving. So I can't leave the dock tarpon fishing and say, hey guys, I'm going to take y'all right here. It's going to be a 20-minute ride, and then we'll start fishing. That's usually not how it works. It's kind of a slow start. I always tell people my favorite line is like, we have to let the morning marinate a little bit. And you really do. You almost have to just like let the day get up, see what the fish are doing, where the bait is, and just kind of adjust to the day and let the day kind of present itself to you.
I got you.
Yes, sir.
Always kind of on your toes, so to speak.
Yes, always.
If someone doesn't have a boat, obviously other than going on a charter with you, what is one tip still to catch fish around here?
I would say...
It's kind of a personal question.
Yeah, no, that's great. My advice to anyone who wants to just catch fish is to keep it simple. Like people tend to, from what I see online and people posting on Facebook and asking for advice and stuff, it seems like people really try to overcomplicate fishing.
Like golf.
It's like people have been catching fish for so long on just very simple tactics. And if you could just go back to the basics and kind of, and see what you also, it goes back to like reading the day and the area and kind of being able to figure out what fish want and how to feed fish, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
that does make sense for sure.
Feeding fish is learning how to feed a fish that doesn't want to bite, or when they do want to bite, learning how to feed them is a huge thing. So just simplifying your tactics and feeding the fish is great advice, I would say.
Absolutely. Simple. That's like golf. Simple tactics and just don't do anything too crazy, and it makes it a lot easier. What should someone bring or not bring on a guided trip?
Also keep it simple. I would say like I provide on my trips, and I think what a lot of boats do is like they'll have like cooler space for them. So midsummer, you're talking about you got to look at the weather, and it changes every day. So if you can afford, and if you don't feel like getting wet, a rain jacket's usually pretty nice to have on a boat, especially center console, like open like mine. We're going to get wet if we have to run through a rainstorm. So a rain jacket, but other than that, like drinks and snacks and
sunblock.
And sunblock.
Unless you're wearing
that's a great idea.
SPS 40
right.
shirt, long sleeve
shirt. Even though, man, you get it everywhere on your face and all that stuff.
Absolutely. What gear is worth investing in and what is overrated? That's kind of getting back to the simpleness of just keep it simple when you're fishing.
Yeah. I would say, like, depending on talking about like fishing reels and rods, maybe like just depending on your use of it and like how much you're going to use it and how big you are into it. I mean, if you're fishing every weekend, you know, you may want one or two nice setups to in case you do hook that fish of a lifetime. And a year later, after you buy that cheaper setup, your drag may want to seize up on it and your line's kind of rotting away.
That's the biggest bummer in the world.
It's like you may want one or two nice things if you plan on fishing quite often, but if you're just kind of getting into fishing and don't know if you're going to, you know, it's going to continue to be like a major hobby of yours. Like I'd say these like mid-range tackle and setups and everything is just as good as.
I'm guessing kind of like a driver in golf clubs. It doesn't have to be the most expensive rod and reel to be better at fishing. It's more about the fisherman or woman than it is the actual equipment that you're using.
No doubt. Yeah. Just being like putting yourself in the right spots is the main thing.
Yep. No, absolutely. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. What's your favorite type of fish to eat?
Honestly, I'd say I've gone back and forth over the years between like flounder and grouper. White meat fish. Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I'm bad on that because I think a lot of fish taste the same depending on who's cooking it. Yeah. And so like
it's fair.
Yeah. Any kind of white meat fish, I'd say.
Gotcha. Agreed. How important has social media been for you in your business? Obviously, we've talked about some awesome videos that you've posted out there, but how much business do you drive up from social media?
I get quite a bit of business from social media. At first it was I used it as a tool to like, I guess just show people what I was catching and then I could do it to like almost prove myself. And then it became, you know, just, I did get some attention, like folks wanting to fish with me because of it. And so, but now it has grown quite a bit where like, I'll get a text from somebody nowadays that's like, I've been following you for a few years. I'm like, awesome. Wow, I can't believe you're just now reaching out, but I'm glad you did. Yeah. So it's kind of cool. It's worked out really well. Now I'm able to get most of my business from, I would say the majority of it comes from word of mouth, just folks that have fished with me before, or friends and family that know and trust me, that send, you know, recommend me to people. And then following that, I would say the social media, like Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and stuff.
I mean, it's just so big a part of the world right now. You almost have to be on it to make it happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we went down to the Keys one time, and I wanted to fly fish for bonefish. I never caught anything, but we rented a Jeep while we were down there, and I asked the people at the Jeeps, like, do you know anybody that, you know, could take me and my son out on a guided trip to, you know, potentially catch some bonefish on a fly fish? And they knew this one guy, and he was this grizzly old captain, had probably been doing it for 50 years. Yeah. We didn't have any success, but I always know that going into it. But it was still a great experience out there.
Yeah.
And then we reel fished a little bit, and Liam caught a few cool things. So it worked out being a great time. But that's such a big part of this kind of stuff is people are going to go ask somebody at a restaurant. They're going to ask somebody at a rental car place, maybe the airport, wherever they're going. They may ask somebody for the inside information. So kind of that sphere of influence and the word of mouth is probably like you said, your biggest piece of business.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah. No, that it works out great. I mean, just having like a core group of people that constantly, you know, let people know that you're the guy to go with. That's kind of been the backbone of my operation.
It's kind of make you feel good too, knowing what you're doing. You're doing it right. You're doing it the right way, and you're doing a wonderful job. Because people recommend
I appreciate that. Yeah,
absolutely. So speaking of all that, where can people find out more information, and what's the best way to schedule a trip?
Honestly, I need to hire somebody to look at my website. So I would say the best way to schedule it or get a hold of me is just text or call me. I have my number listed on my Instagram and my website. There's some information about my trips on there, but your best information and the way to book any kind of fishing trip, in my opinion, is to first get a hold of the guide over telephone and talk to them.
Yeah.
Let them know your expectations, and that way we can kind of set you up with exactly what you need. Because there's not always like, I may not be the perfect guide for somebody even reaching out to me. And so I can point them in the right direction, and vice versa. So that's always been a good tool, is like reaching out to me, getting on the phone, talking to me, let me know what your expectations are. That way we can go from there.
I'm sure it's a pretty tight-knit community of fishing guides. Y'all are all trying to make sure each other succeed, not as much competitive, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I mean, really in town, like in Panama City, there's a crew of really great guides. It seems like for the most part, everybody gets along. There are those like dog days of summer where you have bickering arguments over spots and stuff here and there. But for the most part, people get along and share trips. And I've made it a point in my career to like really try to kind of fit myself in the mix of everybody and try to play it cool with everybody and be friends with everybody, if that makes sense. Because you never really know when that you're going to need that person in the long run, or they're going to need you. And in the long run, we're also out there trying to do the same thing, just make a living by doing fishing. So any way we can help each other out, we seem to do it.
It kind of seems like one of those things. If you all succeed, if you succeed and everybody kind of succeeds together, everybody wins in that particular business.
For sure.
Steve, do you have any other questions? I'm going to finish with some rapid fire stuff.
Well, I know I could probably get this on your website, but how big is your boat?
It's 25 foot long. It's a center console.
So how many people, if a group wanted to rent?
Yes, sir.
How many?
I carry up to 4 passengers.
4?
Yes, sir, on my boat.
Just some quick rapid fire stuff before we finish up and pivot over to Steve. Early morning or sunset bite?
Early morning.
Live bait or artificial?
Live bait.
Biggest pet peeve on the boat? People jumping in the water off the boat?
Yeah.
I was thinking people peeing in the water off the boat.
That's
no,
probably a necessity.
I don't mind them doing that. I'd rather than on the boat.
Yeah. I think Liam's done that
probably
once or
dirty
twice.
shoes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dirty shoes. Don't have dirty shoes when you get on anybody's boat.
Nah.
One fish you still want to catch?
Marlin.
Dream fishing destination outside of Florida?
Maybe like somewhere down in Central or South America. I don't know exactly where, but something like that.
Like some peacock bass or something like that?
Man, I don't know. Some blue water stuff.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, maybe get your mind going and you can make that trip happen in the future for sure. Before we pivot over to the Kentucky Derby, just want to talk about Panhandle Credit Union. It's all about building real relationships, whether it's supporting local events or sponsoring your kids' team. Panhandle Credit Union is invested right here in our community, showing up and giving back. When it comes to your finances, they've got you covered, from checkings and savings accounts to loans and mortgages. Panhandle Credit Union has the tools to help you reach your goals. All right, Steve, you ready? A little Kentucky Derby preview. So I've dubbed you as a horse racing expert, so we're going to roll with that. You are the horse racing expert that I know. I know Alan Sandage, too, is pretty big into the betting side, but you're the overall horse racing expert. So kind of the big picture of the Kentucky Derby, for people who only tune into it once a year, what makes the Kentucky Derby so special?
It's the tradition. It's a time. The Kentucky Derby started in 1875 when America was a rural, my horse can beat your horse type of thing. And over the years, the traditions, I'm a big respecter of traditions in any sport. And the traditions, and now it's just a spectacle. 140,000 people show up, and they're dressed to the nines. The pageantry of the horses. It's really a special day. Yeah,
absolutely. Why is it called the most exciting 2 minutes in sports?
I think it's the build-up.
You're waiting your way. I mean, there's races all day. I know that. But
especially if you have any connection at all to the industry, that it's the build-up. This is the first huge race of the season. And when you get those 20 horses in the gate and those gates open, it's just exciting.
Yeah, you can feel the
I'm
energy.
getting goosebumps. I'm sorry, guys. I want to get people interested.
You're fine.
in these.
I am too.
Yeah,
We're
I
good.
want to get people interested in the Derby. It's really, really exciting.
What should casual fans watch for that they might normally miss?
I'd say the jockeys. I mean, the horses are beautiful to look at. You can get caught. Your eye catches the silks. But if you want to really study the jockeys, they're 110-pound men,
Yeah.
Wow.
and they're controlling 1,000 pounds
Of pure muscle.
exactly, and they're pent up, they're excited, they want to run, and they're in control of these horses. I'd watch their jockeys, watch them in the post parade, how they handle their horse. There's a number of close-ups during the race that just watch these guys. It's
What I really like
what a
about
skill.
the coverage now is they spend a lot of time pre-race, like talking to the jockeys, showing what they're doing to get ready for the race and stuff like that. And it's certainly something you may miss if you're not looking for it. Getting into kind of the actual race itself, who are the top 2 to 3 horses you think can realistically win this year?
Well, I have taken some notes. As a long-time thoroughbred fan, you're constantly taking notes on the racing form or whatever. But the favorite, the morning line favorite, is a horse named Renegade.
It's a good name. Isn't that what? No, I don't think Florida State's horse. That's not Renegade, is it?
I believe
No, it's
so.
like is that Renegade or Stampede or something like that? Yeah.
Renegade
Look
sounds
that up on the
uber familiar.
Google machine
While
there.
you're talking, I'll
going
check
on,
that
chat?
out.
So Renegade is the favorite. He is a great horse. He won the Arkansas Derby, which is my personal favorite track. Is Oaklawn
It is
Park in
Renegade.
Arkansas. It is Renegade.
Yeah.
Well, all of you Florida people out here, this is
should
a
be-
hunch horse for you.
They should be betting on Renegade. That's an easy one
Yep.
for him.
The only problem with Renegade is he has post position number 1, which is a kind of a death sentence.
Yep.
It has not won. The post position number 1 has not won the Kentucky Derby in 40 years. With 19 other horses outside you, you have to have incredible racing luck
Yep.
to get in a
through all
position to have your horse in a position to win. So Renegade is a top contender. I'll be rooting for him.
Steve, are the post positions just random? How do they get their draws?
The racing secretary takes the entries for the Kentucky Derby. There are 20 this year. So he puts 20 pieces of paper, their entry form, and there's a pillbox with 20 numbers in them. He blindly pulls up one of the entries, then another person rolls the pillbox with a number. So they are randomly.
Gotcha.
At one point in the Derby, they tried out, if you pulled your horse's name first, you got to choose your post position.
That doesn't seem
And
fair.
that didn't work out very well, so they did away with that. And this has been a tradition for hundreds of years, is the pillbox, it's called.
Yeah. One more follow-up question to that. Did his odds change drastically after that happened?
I wouldn't say drastically, because he's still the favorite,
Yep.
but it might have gone up a tick or two.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I'll mention one more horse. There's a horse called the Puma who's raced in Florida. He won the Tampa Bay Derby, and he was second in the Florida Derby to a horse named Commandment, who were probably the 3 favorites. So Commandment's number 6. He's won 2 of the big Florida races, the Florida Derby. He won the Fountain of Youth, and that's the same road that last year's winner took to the Kentucky Derby, a horse named Sovereignty.
Yep.
And Sovereignty won last year's Fountain of Youth, won last year's Florida Derby, and Commandment's done the same thing. So he's a contender. And a horse named the Puma, who has only raced 3 times, but and has been beaten by Commandment. But the race that Commandment beat him, the Puma was on the extreme outside almost the entire race. So he lost a lot of ground. So a lot of trip handicappers, people who watch the races and say, well, that wasn't a good trip for that horse. They like the Puma better than maybe the horse that beat him in the last time.
Trip just meaning the race around the track.
The way the
Okay.
horse race unfolds is called the trip.
Gotcha.
And there are certain trip handicappers. If they see a horse that didn't get a good trip, they might want to bet him next time.
Gotcha. Is there a dark horse, no pun intended, that could surprise everyone?
A dark horse, which is a horse racing term. It's used now in politics,
Yeah,
probably
used
more
in
than anything, but it
almost
started
every
as a
betting
horse
event.
racing term. I'd say for dark horses, a lot of people know nothing about. There's a horse from Japan. There's a horse who's raced 3 times, once in Japan, once in Saudi Arabia, once in Dubai. That horse's name is Sir Speed. No, yeah, and a horse named
great
Wonder Dean is also a foreigner. He's never raced in the United States. The best foreign horse is a horse named Dannon Bourbon. He's the 7 horse. He's raced in Japan, and the Japanese race counterclockwise, race clockwise. Horse racing races in the America races counterclockwise.
I had no idea. That's kind of interesting.
So these three horses, Dan and Bourbon, Wonder Dean, and Six Speed, they're the dark horses because people don't know that much about them.
Well, I mean, it's got to be different because you're turning left in America and then you'd be turning right overseas.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a little different style.
We kind of touched on it, but how important is the post position in the Derby?
It's more important than it is in a 6-horse field. A lot of races in the United States might have 10 horses in it, 12 at the most. This has 20. So you have to have a good position. Post position number 1. Post position number 2 is not won since 1978. And it took a firm who won the Triple Crown that year to win from post position number 2. So number 1 and number 2 have not had good success. Post position 17 has never won in the Kentucky Derby, 152 years.
Jeez.
Because a lot of years they never had a post position 17.
Yep.
They only had 9 horses in the race. But still, number 17 has never won. And post position 20, you're going to end up losing a lot of ground.
Yeah.
So...
It obviously depends on what type of horse your horse is. When you can, if they're a leader and want to get out front, or a mutter, something like that's kind of in the middle.
Yeah, closer. That's a stalker. That's an excellent point. That post positions to a horse that's a closer who comes from way behind probably isn't as important because he's going to be behind no matter what. But he does have to thread his way through 19 other horses to win. A horse who's more of a speed horse, which doesn't have much success in the Kentucky Derby because it's 1.25 miles. It's farther than they've ever run before.
Yep.
Speed horses, post position is a little more important to get a good position.
Gotcha. So kind of touching on the importance of the horse, speed, stamina, or jockey experience, in your opinion, what's the most important out of those three things?
In this particular race, it's stamina.
Stamina, because it's the longest race
They're
they do.
They're 3-year-olds. It's early in the season. They've never raced 1.25 miles. They've never carried 126 pounds. All the horses carry 126 pounds. They've never carried that weight before. So it's a handicapping nightmare, really.
I bet. I mean, just trying to figure all that out, especially if you're an owner or a trainer and all that stuff.
But in this particular race, stamina is the most important.
That makes sense. I wonder if Jay remembers how long a furlong is, because I think we asked him that last year when you were on the phone with us, if I remember correctly.
I don't think he would remember it.
I don't think I remember.
The Kentucky Derby is 10 furlongs.
Steve,
a furlong is an eighth
you
of a
said
mile.
they're all 3-year-olds. All the horses are the same age.
Yep. This is their one chance to win the Kentucky Derby.
Really?
There are 18,000 thoroughbreds that are born in the United States every year. Yeah, it fluctuates a little bit, but about 18,000. And on January 1st every year, they all celebrate a birthday. So you can be born in April, which some of these horses that are racing, they just turned 3. Renegade was born in January, so he has a 4-month advantage over them.
Sure.
And there's one horse in the Kentucky Derby that isn't even 3 yet, technically, by the calendar. He was born sometime in mid-May.
So it's kind of like travel sports where 12U on January 1st. It's kind of the same thing with horse racing then, I guess.
Horses mature pretty quickly, but it's some handicappers think the older the better. But they're all 3, and this is their one chance at glory.
And then they're too old, just like that. That's like wild. On the betting side of things, if you had $100, how would you bet it in this race?
It depends. Well, how I would bet it.
Yep.
There are 2 types of bettors. There's the popcorn eaters, who are the people who come twice a year to the racetrack. They buy their popcorn and they bet every race. If they had $100, they should take that and bet $10 a race for 10 races.
Yep.
A serious handicapper would take that $100, find 1 or 2 races to bet, because it's a hard sport to pick a winner of every race.
Absolutely.
You have to have a conviction that this is the race that I can make money in. So it's the manure sniffers like me would take that $100 and bet it all on one race.
Gotcha. What's a smart bet for beginners who don't know exactas, trifectas, etc.?
Well, I thought of this when you asked Greg about fishing, keeping it simple. Bet to win.
Yep. Don't get too complicated.
Don't complicate things with exactas and trifectas and superfectas and pick threes and daily doubles. Pick a horse, whether you like its name, its number, the jockey's silks. Bet $2, $10, whatever your budget allows. Bet it to win.
Yep.
Don't bet to show. Your horse will win. He'll pay $23 to win and $3 to show.
Yep.
So,
And for those who don't know, show is what, second place? Or
show
that's
is third.
Third place.
Place is
second. Yep.
Bet to win. Keep it simple.
So kind of following up with that question, one mistake casual bettors always make is probably making it too complicated.
I think so. Making it too complicated, and I think show betting is death. I mean, it's nice to say, "Hey, I cashed the ticket," and you get back $2.40.
Yeah, $100 bet. Yep.
Yeah.
We've kind of already talked about this, but your favorite long shot pick that could pay big.
I'd say Bob Baffert has 2 horses in this race. Bob Baffert has won the Kentucky Derby 6 times, so he knows how to win this race. And he has a horse named Potente. He's the 14 horse, Potente. And it's a California horse. And she finished second in the Santa Anita Derby. He's had good success on the West Coast. And I would say he's 20 to 1 in the morning line. That might be a good long shot pick.
Yeah, I like that. Jockeys and trainers, how much does the jockey really impact the race?
It's like Major League Baseball. Every batter can hit a home run.
Yep.
Every jockey in this race is a good jockey. But comes to the bottom of the 9th inning with 2 outs and the bases loaded, you want Aaron Judge up.
Yep.
You want one of the top 10, top 20 jockeys. And all of these guys are capable, but there are some jockeys that are a little better than others.
Following up on that, those jockeys and trainers that you trust more than others in the big moments, who are some of those guys?
Well, in this race, it's Irad Ortiz. He's riding Renegade. Flavian Pratt has a horse in here, a little bit of a long shot. Who's Flavian got this year? Yeah, I don't even see who. Oh, Flavian has the number 15, Emerging Market, who's an interesting horse. 2-year-olds who have never raced have only won the Kentucky Derby twice in 152 years. Flavian Pratt is riding a horse called Emerging Market, who's undefeated, but has only raced 2 times. So that lack of inexperience, a lot of horsemen think, geez, 20 horses in a field.
Yep.
This horse has only raced 2 times.
Longest race of their career.
Exactly. So, but he's trained by a good trainer. Chad Brown is an excellent trainer. We'll see. He has faith in the horse that he can go 1.25 miles and carry 126 pounds, or he wouldn't be in the race. So,
what's the pressure like in this race compared to other races?
I think the pressure is getting there.
Yep.
Just probably like any other sport, like the World Series or getting to the Super Bowl. Once you get there, I think the pressure eases.
Gotcha.
I mean, you'd like to win, and there's that pent up excitement, but the pressure is over once you get there.
And then kind of following up on that, how chaotic is the Derby compared to other races?
Well, you've heard me say this is really chaos for the jockeys, the horses. So many people at Churchill Downs, 140,000 people. They're packed in the infield. They're packed in the apron. They're screaming their lungs out when those gates open. And there's 20 horses in a cavalry charge.
Yep.
It can be intimidating for the jockeys. It can be intimidating for the horses. So
that gave me some real chills on that one. You kind of painted the picture of what happens when that gate opens.
Gosh, when you hear that bell, when the starting gate opens up, there's a bell that goes off. And when you hear that bell, it's exciting.
It's game time. What usually causes the favorites to lose the race?
We talked about it earlier, the trip.
Yep.
Horses like to race a certain type of race. Some like to be in the front. They like to be in the front by themselves. If they're pressured, if there's a horse outside them, they may go a little faster than they want to, and they'll fade and they won't win. But some horses might get caught in a blind switch, it's called. The jockey might run up behind another horse thinking he's going to be able to pass him, and another horse will come over and block him in. There's lots of ways for favorites to lose, but the most important is the trip. The horses like to do a certain style of running, and if that is taken away from them, Doesn't matter if they're 1-5 or 1-9 or the favorite, they're not going to win.
Yep. It's just, and that's, I'm sure the owners of those horses are watching that very intently, and they see that happen. They're probably disappointed at that point.
Oh, very much so.
You've kind of mentioned it. How big of a factor are the crowd and the atmosphere at Churchill Downs?
I'm not sure exactly if the jockeys are that intimidated by it. I mean, they're excited. They're racing the biggest race of their life, but that's their job. The horses, I think, can be intimidated by the crowd.
Gotcha.
I mean, they're a pack animal. All that noise, it's got to affect them. You'll see some of them. If you see a horse in the post parade that their sweat comes out as white on the horse. If you see a horse that is frothing in sweat, you don't want to bet him.
Yeah.
It's called being washy. He's expending all his energy in nerves. So,
I mean, at the end of the day, they're animals just like we are. So I'm sure a lot of those factors kind of happen. And then obviously they get spooked going into the gate and stuff like that too. How much does that affect their race? Or their
they can, and it may not be them that get spooked. The horse next to them might get spooked. And if he gets spooked, they get spooked. Because what's going on? Hey. So
there's so much involved in it that you may not realize if you're just, a casual fan. That,
there's a lot that happens out there.
What's your go-to Derby drink? Are we talking the classic mint julep?
Oh no, that's foul.
Yeah, I've never.
I'm sorry, you bourbon drinkers.
Yeah.
No, that drink is foul. No, just go to a Derby party and have some nice beers.
Yep, there you go. Best Derby party advice for fans watching at home.
You got to have a little skin in the action.
Yep.
So you got to have a Kentucky Derby pool.
After this, I'm going to buy 20 little brown paper bags and put 1 through 20 on all of them, and then people can put their dollars in each bag, or their chips and then their dollars.
Yep, that's a great way to do it. I started a Kentucky Derby pool my freshman year in college, 1968, and it went for 40 years.
Wow.
Till I moved to Arkansas. And I put the horses' names on a penny, put a penny in, I had a Kentucky Derby hat. Everybody threw in a quarter in 1968.
Yep.
Threw in a quarter, and the person who pulled out the winner got 80% of the money. The person who pulled out the penny that had the horse that finished last got the rest of the money.
Nice,
So
I like
have
that.
a first and a last.
Yep, there you go. I like that.
Yeah.
Biggest Derby tradition people need to know about.
Ooh, Derby traditions that they need to know about. The walkover. This is,
I love watching that.
yeah, this is the pinnacle for an owner and a trainer to walk from the stable area to the paddock. It's about a quarter of a mile. And to do that, you've got, I don't know how many minutes it takes, 15 minutes to think, I'm here. I'm at the Kentucky
You're
Derby.
kind of soaking it all in and
Soaking
enjoying
it
the
all
moment.
in. This is the pride that this owner has in his horse. I think the walkover is one of the coolest things that the Kentucky Derby does.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
All right. What's more likely, the favorite wins or finishes out of the money?
Favorites across the board in any race only win about 34, 35, 36% of the time, depending on the track. So 1 out of every 3 favorites will win.
Yep.
So just in the odds, I'd have to bet against whoever the favorite is in this
go.
race. I hope it's not Renegade, because I want to bet Renegade.
A long shot wins or a dominant runaway victory?
The largest victory in the Kentucky Derby, 152 years, has been only 8 lengths. It's happened 4 times in 152 years. So I would say a dominant victory is not likely. It'll be a fairly close race in the stretch.
I like it. A race decided at the start or at the final stretch, what's more likely?
Just like in golf, you can lose the tournament in the first round.
Yep.
You can't win it in the first round. Same way in horse racing. You can lose the Kentucky Derby in the first 20 yards of the race.
So more likely that the race is decided at the start. Gotcha.
For a lot of horses, it will be.
Yeah.
For a lot of horses, they'll be eliminated at the start. They won't get the path that they want. They won't get the style of race that they want. They'll get pinched, squeezed between 2 other horses. it'll discourage them. So the start of the race is important for a lot of horses.
Gotcha. And then crowd favorite or crowd favorite wins or total chaos?
Well, the crowd favorite would probably be the betting favorite.
Yeah.
So I would endorse chaos.
Gotcha. And then the last few questions for you, Steve. Who's your official pick to win the Kentucky Derby? I'm guessing Renegade, but maybe not.
Yeah, I have to pat myself on the back. For years and years, I never picked the winner. Sovereignty was my horse all last year. Renegade's been my horse leading up to the Kentucky Derby, so I'm sticking with Renegade.
Now, do you go up to Ebro when this race is going on?
Yeah. Yeah, up at Ebro, they simulcast the races from all over the country, and they'll have the Kentucky Derby there.
Sweet. Give me one horse name we'll remember after this race.
It'll be the winner. You very rarely ever remember the second and third place of anything.
Especially because they don't have the opportunity to win the Triple Crown. That's what everybody starts talking about.
Yeah, that's true. And Sovereignty last year intentionally passed on the Triple Crown.
And I think we've talked about that before. Why do horses not do that? Are they worried about getting injured and stuff like that? Or is the Derby win so much more valuable than potentially not winning the next two races?
Well, to win the Triple Crown is a big deal.
Yeah.
But horsemen care about their animals. They're not just a commodity. And I think at some point this is going to change. The Kentucky Derby is always the first Saturday in May. It's been that way for over 100 years. The Preakness is always 2 weeks after the Kentucky Derby.
Quick turnaround.
It's just too quick a turnaround. If you get a racing form and you look at any horse's charts, very rarely do they ever run in 14 days. And these are valuable commodities. Yep. And so that's going to be my prediction, that whoever wins the Derby will not race in the Preakness. I think they're going to start a trend. Sovereignty's kicked it off last year, and it's happened before, that they're just going to pass.
It's such a quick turnaround time for a horse to race again.
It's a great expense of energy that a horse uses up in a mile and a quarter.
Absolutely. All right, we'll finish with this one bold prediction for Derby Day.
That would be my prediction, that the winner of the Kentucky Derby does not race in the Preakness, and people will go, oh, how can he do that? Well, he's looking after his animal.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. The animals, like you said, they care about it like you would care about your dog or whatever.
Oh, these animals are treated much better than your dog.
And of course, after they win a big time race too, they're treated really, really well too. And they get to live that kind of stud life for the rest of their life, where they just get to mate with other horses and get fed whatever they want. Not a bad deal.
It's a real good deal.
Yep, no doubt. So people who worry about it being cruel and all that, it's not. I mean, if you win, you get to keep on having a good life.
They're treated very, and there's a wonderful program that's developed all over the country in the last 10 years, and Oakland does a tremendous job at this. They have something called Ring the Bell. The winners, the owners, can ring the bell, and they can donate a piece of their purse money to Thoroughbred Retirement Alliance, and it's caught on all over the country. Oakland raised over $1 million this year during their meet for thoroughbred retirement. So when a horse does get injured in a race, it's not like it used to be a long time ago where they might send them off to the glue factory. Now they're treated, sent to a farm,
and taken care of.
And taken care of. It's a wonderful program. So they're upgrading the treatment of thoroughbreds, no doubt.
I'm just going to tell it, and I'm sure I've told you this story before, but I'm just going to tell a quick story before I talk about some of the local stuff going on today, or this evening, I should say. When I worked on the north end of the New Jersey Shore in Monmouth County, which Monmouth County has the Monmouth Park, which is one of the bigger race venues in the country. They've hosted the what's the last race of the year thing called? It's the big event.
Breeders' Cup.
They've hosted the Breeders' Cup there before. Yep. So it's a big-time racetrack, and I worked at this private club on the north end of the Jersey Shore, and our shoe cleaning guy knew everything about the horses because a lot of our members owned horses. So I would end up I was an intern at the time, and I would end up taking all the bets and going to Monmouth Park in the afternoon and then placing the bets, hanging out, watching. I obviously placed a few bets myself too based on what the shoe, and I would just drink some beers and then be done with my shift, and I would just go home, and the next day I'd have to bring back all the winnings and all that stuff. So I became very enamored with horse racing by doing that. And obviously, it was a kind of a fun way to. Didn't learn a whole lot about my business, but it was member services, was what I always called it, because I'd collect all the bets and who they wanted to bet for, go to the track, bet some of my own. But I just felt like I had a lot of inside information, and I won a few, but lost a lot too, and watched a lot of other people lose a lot of money. So just like gambling, you're going to lose more than 50% of the time. And if you think you're going to win more than 50% of the time, it's not going to happen. Kind of like Sorsby, who's dealing with it right now. In the
Bet within your budget.
Yeah, bet within your budget, and don't let it be an addiction, because it can easily be an addiction, that's for sure. All right, real quick before we get out of here today, talking about the Arnold girls flag football team. They won their district championship last week. They played on the 23rd, which I believe was Thursday, after they beat Wakulla in the semifinal game 20-0. They had a big game against Godby, their first ever district tournament as a program. Went on to win the district championship, which was the 2A District 2 championship, 19-6 over Godby. That defense showed up again. Jerica Hughes had a huge game. Emma Krelling had a huge game. Sophia Mansilla had a huge game as well. So with that win in the district championship, they get a bid to the state playoff tournament, which is going on tonight, 7 p.m. over there at Gavlax Stadium. Get out and support those girls. If you haven't been to a girls flag football game this year, I highly encourage it. It's a lot of fun to watch. Just a completely different sport than football, or really any other sport as well. So that's at 7 p.m. They'll take on Yulee. If they get the dub tonight, they'll play the winner of Paxton School for the Arts and Godby. And Godby's who they just beat in the district championship. So hopefully they can get the dub tonight, and then maybe Godby can upset the number 2 seed. But in their first year to get the number 2 seed in the state tournament, the number 3 seed in the state tournament for their first ever year, their first ever program sport, is pretty impressive in my opinion. So Arnold was the only team out of Bay County to go on to the state playoff tournament. So good luck to the girls tonight. I'll be on the call tonight in the PA, so I'm very much looking forward to that. And some other local sport updates. We have Bozeman, who won the semifinal game in boys baseball. That was the district championship, the 2A District 1 championship. So they moved on to the state playoff tournaments. We'll go through that real quick. We got the bounce through Max Preps kind of fast here. The 2A baseball state championships, the regional tournament, or the Region 1 tournament, which features a few teams from our area. Moving on, you've got Trinity Christian Academy. You got Christian and Catholic in that one. And then Bishop Snyder and Bowles, who's a team out of Tallahassee. Moving on to this is the 3A baseball state championships. Bay unfortunately had to travel all the way to Fernandina Beach a few days ago and ended up losing that one 10-0. Fernandina Beach moves on in that one. I hate when they have to travel so far like that. Moving on to the 4A baseball state championships. Arnold ended up having to go all the way over to St. Augustine and fought hard, but ended up losing 10-6 in that one, making St. Augustine take on Choctaw and then Escambia and Clay in the Region 1 semifinals of the state tournament for Class 4A. But moving on to 5A, the Moseley Dolphins, who have a great history of winning a lot of games in the playoffs, got their dub against Lake City, against Columbia, who's over there in Lake City, 5-2. So they move on to play a familiar foe in the Niceville Eagles. That game is on May 1st at 7 p.m. over there at Niceville. So get out there and support those Moseley Dolphins. Another great victory for them in the opening round of the playoff. And then kind of a fun one I wanted to talk about is obviously girls volleyball is huge around here, but boys volleyball, we do have one Bay County school that has a boys volleyball team, and that is North Bay Haven Academy. They made the state tournament for the 2A class. They are in Region 1, and they will take on Bartram Trail at home on the 30th, which is Thursday at 7 p.m. A home-hosted boys volleyball game is pretty impressive here in Bay County, a sport that's not really big in our area. Hopefully it continues to grow, and other schools may adopt it. Maybe now that we have a girls flag football side of things, we can get a boys volleyball side of things. But good luck to the Bay Haven Bucks, as on Thursday night they will take on Bartram Trail in the opening round of the 2A state playoff tournament. A lot of good local action going on right now. Looking forward to that Arnold girls flag football game this evening as well. Before we get out of here, I'm going to finish up with some more of our sponsors. We got Golf Plus over there in the Edgewater Shopping Plaza. If you're looking to level up your golf game, then you got to check out Golf Plus right here in Panama City Beach. They've got 2 simulators powered by the Foresight Game Changer 2 launch monitor. So you're not guessing, you're getting fitted the right way. New clubs, regrips, loft and lie adjustments, they do it all. Whether you're just getting started or chasing scratch, Golf Plus will dial in your game with the gear that actually fits fits your swing. Swing by the shops of Edgewater next to Firefly or book your fitting by calling 850-249-2726 or book online at golfplusretail.com because the right clubs change everything. And then before we get out of here, if you're looking for the best dinner spot in PCB and all of Northwest Florida, you've got to check out Firefly. From fresh Gulf seafood to perfectly cooked steaks to one of the top sushi bars on the coast, Firefly brings next-level dining experience every single time. Whether it's a date night, celebration, or just a night out with friends, the vibe is elite and the food never misses. Also located in the shops of Edgewater. Book your table now at fireflypcb.com, and trust me, this isn't just dinner, it's an experience. Gentlemen, thanks again for coming on the show today. Greg, I really enjoyed it. What's your phone number so if people want to reach out to book a trip with you?
Thanks, Ryan. It's 850-814-5680.
Perfect. And I'll put that on the published episode when we post it on all of our podcasts.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
Of course. And Steve, always a pleasure talking to you about horse racing. So enjoy the Derby this weekend, and hopefully Renegade can get the dub for you. And
I hope so.
And then when he won't go to the Preakness, and maybe he'll run in the Belmont. The Belmont's the last weekend in May? I know it's always around.
Belmont is 3 weeks after the Preakness.
That's right. A little bigger break between those two. And as always, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Keep it local, keep it real, and always stay in the drive. That's another episode of the Inside Drive podcast, powered by our amazing sponsors and driven by this community. Follow and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, and all the major podcast platforms. We'll see you on Thursday with Jay and David, hopefully. Y'all have a great rest of your Tuesday. Go out and watch some local sports.